never, ever agree with the commie. Never. That's like rule number 1 of USA. Actually, rule number 1 is baseball is the best sport. 2nd is Cardinals are God's team. And 3 is never agree with the commie. I mean, these are just like known truths. Our friend Steve Yates knows this. You guys know our friend Steve. He's been very, very busy as of late. He's in beautiful Florida right now, senior fellow at America First Policy Institute and chair of the China Policy Initiative. I got stuff to talk about on the Pacific side, but I got to ask you, Steve, kind of your general impression of everything that went down last week with the trade and that that's a masterful piece of propaganda that RT put out. And I keep seeing it retweeted all over everywhere, all day today and yesterday.
Well, it sure was hard to predict something like this would come of this. They made
shocking, right?
Pretty crummy deal. And, I can't say I'm surprised by that, given that all their other dealings have been so great, from the withdrawal from Afghanistan to now. It's pretty much a straight line of fumbles, I think would be the most charitable way to put it.
Do you think he's going to go back to arms deal? Is that everyone keeps saying that, this is such a big win for Putin because Putin really needs him right now. Really, though? Do you think he's going to actually is he going to go back to arms dealing? Is it going to be like when we traded the 5 Taliban dream team for that Bo Bergdahl and then they immediately went back to being terrorists? Will it be similar?
Since I've never really gotten into the arms trade, I just want every FBI agent listening right now to know that I've never gotten into the arms trade. I don't know how easy or hard
You're not looking to compete with the CIA. You're not looking to compete with them like he did. It's just totally different.
But this guy is evil. There's no question about it. He shouldn't be breathing. But one thing you can't say is that he's unintelligent. He navigated very complicated situations exceedingly successfully for a long time. He's not dumb. He's still resident evil, but he's not dumb. He probably is going to be profitable. But I wouldn't want to be around the guy. At this point, I don't know who would feel safe being around him. But, that's the Russians' problem for now. But I don't understand why he lived until now. I definitely don't understand why he was released. And that was one bonkers trade. I just don't understand anything at all about it. And every stone that someone wanted to throw at former President Trump about all kinds of different things, there was a trade for this guy that was on offer, and he said no. And now we kind of get why. So just chalk it up to another one of these things that Team Biden thought was easy peasy, and they just appeal to their base and the message, the narrative, the ideology, and that's okay. And the press secretary can have a personal moment of pride and all of that good stuff. Good for them. But this is a really dangerous, terrible, evil guy.
And with all out there. Yeah. And with all, we're talking to Steve Yates, with all the people that were involved in this. So UAE was involved in the negotiations. The Saudis were, so basically OPEC plus. And this is all we got. So we give them the equivalent of like a whole team of people, and we just get one WNBA player.
Who doesn't even like our country? I still have not seen the public statement where she said, "Thank you, USA. You can play the anthem every day for the rest of my life because I'm happy to breathe free air." That would have been a nice down payment on justifying this trade. But we don't even get that.
No, we don't get that at all. All right, I want to switch gears and look at what's happening with in the Pacific, rather. So Japan is buying Tomahawk missiles in a defense buildup amid fears of war. Whenever people start, building up munitions, I'm immediately paying attention. And then apparently now, here, let me pull this up too. Another piece on they're joining our efforts to tighten chip exports to China. So it's Japan, the Netherlands. They've been seeking to act in concert on these new rules, and it's going to affect a bunch of chip making gear firms. So they're trying to tighten controls of all of this going to, I guess, Beijing, which, I guess it's going to, I don't know how much, is that going to really do a lot to destabilize, though, their technology ambitions as it's put out? Because they kind of have a hold on this. They have their own pathway on this, do they not?
Well, China has a pathway, but it is hindered if the world's most advanced countries will stop making them the primary platform on which they depend, like 90% plus for their supply chains. So the more diversified our supply chains are, the more we protect the most advanced technology. So, there was this big announcement of a plant in Arizona. The president went, the founding CEO to the current CEO of Taiwan Semiconductors was there. They're going to manufacture the most advanced 3 nanometer, I can't even fathom how small that is, of a chip. That's the most advanced, and that's the future. If we can keep the most advanced things in clean supply chains in the free world, we have options. If we allow collaboration with China on those supply chains and control of those supply chains, it's pretty obvious where that goes. It's just been a slow roll to get the rest of the world to sober up. That turns out the Communist Party, especially under Xi Jinping, is not a reliable partner. They're not interested in quality control. They're not interested in people.
No, they're not at all. Speaking of Beijing, Hong Kong publishing tycoon Jimmy Lai is now he's got a 5-year sentence. He's going to be jailed 5 years on a fraud charge, which we all know is bunk. I thought 5 years. I still think all of this is too much, but I guess I didn't know what to anticipate, what they were going to throw at him. What's your take on all of this?
Well, this is a trumped up charge, to use the phrase, but it's meant to tar and feather his reputation as a setup for the national security law conviction that is all but baked into the process. So they're basically just trying to drag him through whatever might stink and stick for now. But this is, just so people know, the guy built $1 billion enterprise. In the property where he was operating some of this enterprise, he allowed some of that space to be used for another enterprise. Oh my gosh, what a threat to humanity that must be. Let's basically throw him in the clink for 5 years. No one in the history of Hong Kong has even been prosecuted for this, much less sentenced to 5 years for this. So this is all commie show. But the worst part of it is it's not even the commies doing it. It's still the Hong Kongers doing it. And this is why people in the United States and elsewhere need to fess up and wise up, because this is the trick. They're not necessarily coming in with the red guard to invade. They undermine our institutions. They get us to do this to ourselves. That's the toxic part of the woke movement and everybody that's disrespecting American institutions and the free world institutions. That's what's happening in Hong Kong. Why Jimmy matters. I thank you for noticing it, remembering it. It's not really about him as much as a good person, incredible entrepreneur he was, but he's the canary in the coal mine. He's the one that's a warning to the rest of us, from the Catholic Church to independent courts, anti-corruption in the future versus China.
Yeah, and I was reading, too, one other quick thing. Jack Ma hasn't been in China in how long? He's been hiding out, they don't say hiding out, but he's been in Tokyo. He has not returned to China. He's been in Tokyo for quite a while now. Do you think there's the possibility that they would look at him as well? Because it almost doesn't even matter if you're lockstep with the CCP. If you have seems like if you have the potential, Jimmy Lai being independently wealthy, if you have the potential to challenge them and you have that wealth, and you're considered a threat. Do you think the same goes for him on a different scale?
Yeah, I kind of get the impression that somewhere along the way, he made the mistake of thinking he was great and what he built was his. Ooh. And the Communist Party let him know, nope, this is all ours. Now, I don't shed crocodile tears for him because he played
the Game of Thrones.
He got it all good. This is sort of like when I got COVID in the UAE and was in a 5-star hotel. No one was crying that I was quarantined in a 5-star hotel. So he's in Japan. He can't hang around in China and do what he used to do. But it's not like he's exactly suffering in a place without potable water and having to kill his own food and stuff like that. The guy's living okay. Yeah. He just can't go back to where he was because they made clear, you're not the boss. This isn't yours.
Interesting. And Jimmy Lai stuck it out. He didn't leave. Very interesting. Stephen Yates, you can follow Steve at YatesComm, COMMS on Twitter. I suggest you do. Always so good to talk with you, my friend. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you, Dana. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.